Alright, first off, my apologies. I randomly decided to make some accents during this, so be prepared. And here we go. I always wanted to be a bug, but not just any bug, a badass bug. One that lives in a world that requires quick reactions like zip pow bam, you know what I mean? But also one with some cool bugs who sing or give me some items or whatever, just sell me some shit. No, but really, Hollow Knight was a masterpiece. I played through probably more than half of it whenever I did play it back in 2019. I really don't remember where I stopped, but it was probably halfway, and I enjoyed what I played of it, just never got around to finishing it. Silksong, of course, being the long-awaited DLC that got turned into a sequel that pretty much everyone and their goddamn mother, grandpappy, and even their doggy were waiting for. But it's pretty fucking good. I've played 4 hours or so of it, and a tiny bit of that was running around randomly and backtracking, but most of it was learning the world and creatures around in this hellish bug land, right? It plays very similar to the first game, but different in its own way. I haven't really seen everything that it has to offer, only being about 4 hours in, so I'm not sure of all the abilities that I'll unlock moving forward, but after these first few hours, I can sprint, dash, and float with my little dress. And it's extremely fluid. Even though it has a mostly simple combat system, the way it forces its platforming into the combat shakes it up pretty much at all times. It lets you heal after building up your silk, which can only be done by successfully landing strikes on pretty much anything that moves. You can also choose to use your silk for offensive special attacks, and I've only got one of those, so I don't use it all the time, but the world is captivating. It's gorgeous, but also fucking confusing. I feel like I'm lost 80% of the time, which is perfectly fine with me, but you have to buy maps and icons and other shit from NPCs, and there are an absolute shit ton of secrets, which for me is pretty awesome. But good fucking lord, do I sometimes not know where I'm going. And then the game tries to be funny about it, like, oh, you finally found the way forward, let me help you out here by knocking you down to the bottom of the fucking floor that you just spent 10 minutes running from. Like, what a fucking dickhead, right? The confusion doesn't stop there. It also happens with the benches that you use for saving and healing. You have no fucking clue when these bitches are gonna pop up again. When I first went into the area with the ants, I felt like I never found one. I would die just randomly trying to platform around these flowers with spikes and shit everywhere over and over again. And that shit kinda sucked. But it forced me to slow down and pay attention, not to just sprint through everything and expect to not be punished as I whiffed a random platform or a slashing of a flower to bounce back up. Because it's mostly a platformer Metroidvania-like with some baller-ass boss fights that are fun as hell. A little bit of Souls-like elements and all that other good stuff. And you really do know what you're getting into, especially if you played the original Hollow Knight here, but it's for sure not the same game. It might look similar, but it has some new flair, style, and just a little bit of shit that it wants to sling at you. And also, every NPC that I've run across in this game is fucking adorable, cute, or badass as hell. Not only are their designs actually interesting and unique, but they all make their own little noises, whether it's a beep or a boop, or they're humming or singing. And just like a lot of people, I sit there in the moment and just enjoy music sometimes. The two standout characters are of course that one lady at the door that's like ringing that bell trying to get it to open, and then you open it from the other side and she's like, hey look, it worked. And then the other character is the warrior that sells you maps and other items. She is a fucking badass, and I hope she sticks around for the majority of the story. I'm enjoying the heck out of it though. I was playing through the Metal Gear series and I'm nearing the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, and I put that on hold to be able to play this. 4 hours is a splash in the pan, it feels, and I'm loving every second of it so far. So here's to 40 more hours of smacking bugs and dying to some bullshit. So I'll see you next time.